Hey everybody, I'm KK,
I'm Kristen.
and together we are.
KK Crochet.
And today is an episode called Unraveling the Mystery. So, not mystery like who done it, mystery like who can do it. Because you all know I've been on a C2C kick this year. I've gone nuts. I don't know why. It was never a stitch that I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, it was a stitch I did just like everything else. I learned how to do it. It was not anything I fell in love with until this year. Have you ever fallen in love with a stitch? You're just like, I have to do everything in that stitch or stitch pattern. C2C has been that for me this year, to the point I think Kristen's sick of hearing about it.
Never.
So every time I turn around, I had 6 blankets planned at the beginning of the year. Then I added one for donation, which made 7. And then I added another one for a friend of mine, so that makes 8. And then I don't know what else I'm going to add. So we'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and talk to you about C2C. I have this question or this comment every time I go in a live or I talk about C2C or we post a video about C2C. I always have somebody who says they've not done C2C before, and that's not unusual, right? Because we all have stitches we haven't done. I had never done a bean stitch until recently when Spring did a hat with it, and then I did the bean stitch and loved it. I had always been kind of like, oh, I don't know how to do that, and kind of intimidated because you see it and you think, what is that? 9 times out of 10, all the stitches we look at like that, or all the patterns we look at like that, it's a formula. I think that's why I love crochet so much. It's a formula, just like math. You do this, 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 and this is what you get. You really can't mess it up. I mean, yeah, you can mess up, if it's a specific thing, but even mess ups still look okay most of the time. And most of the time, nobody knows but you, right? So I think that's why I like it. It's a formula. If you do this and you do this, this is the stitch you get. If you do this and you do this, this is the stitch you get. And when you put this stitch with this stitch, this is what you get, right? It's a formula. It's mathematics. Whether you like math or not, if you like crochet, you like math. You may not think so, but you do. I promise you, you do. All the shaping and all the shapes and all the sizing, you like math. You just may not realize that you do. So we're going to debunk the mystery, unravel that mystery, around C2C. Now, I don't do tutorials. I don't have the setup for that. I've had people ask. There are lots of tutorials out there for C2C. There are lots of great tutorials out there for C2C. There are lots of written patterns for C2C. What I'm doing now is opening up the mystery box for those of you who've never seen C2C, not sure what it's about, or are confused. So this is just the best way that I know how to get you over the hurdle, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a hook and we're going to grab your yarn. And I'm going to tell you that the way I do C2C is the way that Spring taught me to do it. Instead, normally you would chain 6 and work back in your work your double crochets back into the chain. I don't do that. The one that she taught me is chain 5, and it makes your stitches tighter together so you don't have big holes in your project, and I like that. So I got my slip knot and I chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for this purpose, it doesn't matter what hook or yarn. I'm just practicing, okay? I think this is, what does that say, a G?
I.
It's an I. It doesn't matter. You use whatever you want to use to make it the right size. So I've chained 5. I'm going back into the 3rd chain from the hook. I yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, and I got it caught. Imagine that. This is why I don't do tutorials, because that's annoying. 3rd chain from the hook. I have to look again. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. For those who have been with crochet for a while, you know that's a double crochet. So I chained 5 and I put a double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. I'm going to put a double crochet in the next one, the next chain, and I'm going to put a double crochet in the next chain. If you can do all that, you've just made a C2C block. It may not look like it. It may not look like much right now, but you've made your first C2C block. Then I flip and you chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to go again into the third chain from the hook, and you're going to put a double crochet. And you're going to go into the next stitch and put a double crochet, working down your chain, and then one more double crochet into the last chain, right? Now in that process, I flipped this over, so I'm going to flip it back the way it was. And then over here, I have the 3 double crochets I did from the last one. And I have that initial chain part that I did not work into, right? The other 2 chains that I did not work into that was formed when I went back into the chain and made the other 3 double crochets. It makes this loop. See the loop I can put my thumb through? That's where you're working. You're going to put your hook into that right here. Look, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, and there's a hole right here, and this is your chain 2 where you did not work into those 2 chains out of the 5. You're going to go into that hole and slip stitch. And I know you can't see very well, which is why I don't do tutorials, but I'm telling you, you're slip stitching into that hole. That's all you're doing. Chain up 2. When you do the chain 6 at the initial thing, if you chain 6, then you would chain up 3. But that's why I don't do that. It makes a bigger gap. I chain 2. And I put 3 double crochets right into that same gap that you slip stitched in to begin with. That's all you're doing. Now you have 2 rows done and 3 blocks of C2C. That's simple. And it doesn't look like much now, but it will. So again, you're going to flip it and you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know you can't see me doing that. It's not meant to be a tutorial. It's meant to be an aha moment when you go, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Are you kidding me? That's all that is. I can do that. You can do that. I promise you. So you're going to go back in and you're going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook and double crochet in your next 2 chains, not stitches, chains, whatever. Double crochet. And again, make sure it's still flipped, and you're going to go into this hole again that is left by the chain on that block and slip stitch into that. And you're going to chain 2 and put 3 double crochets back into that same space. 1, 2, and of course my hook wants to hang. 3. I really don't like this yarn. That's why I made hats with it. Again, the next one, you're going to slip stitch into that chain space there. Chain 2, 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And if you're not changing colors, this is all you're doing the whole way. Now, if you want to change colors, that's easily done too. But I think we're going to break this up into things so that you all can get a chance to practice. So there, I've done 3 rows of C2C. I have 6 blocks total, and that's the start of the corner of my afghan, right? Or whatever I'm making. So I'm going to leave it there with you and let you practice on that. And when I come back in another video, I'm going to talk to you about how you change color in your C2C, or how I change color in my C2C. I know this is not a tutorial. I'm not trying to be doing a tutorial. There are plenty of them that do that. This is for those people who just, a lot of times, I don't need a tutorial. I need the stitch explained. And you can say, well, that is a tutorial. Not always. I don't necessarily need to see you stepping it out step by step in front of me. I need you to tell me what stitches are involved and how they go together. And yeah, you know, I may need to see you do the first, like when I used to do math in school, I need to see you do a problem and then I can do it. I may not need to see the whole thing. Now there are things I need to see the whole thing. There are crochet things I need to see the whole thing, pattern by pattern. But most of the time, this is what I need to see in order to decide if I want to make something with it, is I need to know the details. I need to know the ingredients that go into it. Are you like that too? Mm-hmm. Like if it's got a popcorn stitch, you lost me. I just don't like them. And it's because I can't get the correct, the same height on my stitches all the time to make them the way they're not consistent. And I don't like that. So, for me, in mine. So there's lots of things, if I see it, I'm like, nah, And I have found ways around that. Like it used to be if it had a crab stitch, I'm out, piece. But now I do a forward crab stitch instead, which is just as easier actually, and prettier, I think, or just as pretty. So that's the first thing for C2C. That's just an an example to explain the mystery. We are unraveling the mystery. So okay, there, right there, look there. That's a C2C, and this is all a C2C is right here. It's just yarn and a hook and a double crochet and some chains and a slip stitch. You can do it. Those are the ingredients. If you can do a slip stitch, a double crochet, a chain, and you have yarn and a hook, you can make a C2C. So we have unraveled that part of the mystery. When we come back the next time for the next installment, we will unravel the mystery of changing colors in a C2C and just explain it, right? It's not a tutorial, it's just an explanation. So maybe it'll click in somebody's brain to say, I can do that. We love it so much, we think that everybody will love it once they figure out the mystery. So this is the mystery of C2C. We will come back for part 2 at another time, and there will be a part 3 to show you how to decrease on a C2C, and then maybe we'll pick something else to unravel the mystery about. Sounds like we have a new series, right? So join us again for Unraveling the Mystery, and right now we're going to do Question of the Day.
Have you ever done C2C? And if you have, what was your favorite thing to make with it?
Good question. We've had lots of examples during Christmas extravaganza because I'm hooked on C2C. That's me. Anyway, we hope you have a great day. Don't forget to be kind because
You don't know anybody else's journey.
bye. And we'll see you later.